Today we're making a rustic-style bread, no perfect shape, just that soft, airy crumb that feels like a sponge. Start by adding the yeast, then the salt, right over the flour, and mix them thoroughly to make sure everything blends evenly. The goal here is to have all the dry ingredients fully combined before we move on to the water. Once the dry ingredients are evenly mixed, it's time to add the water and bring it all together. I am using a Danish dough whisk here. It makes mixing easier and keeps the dough light. Make sure there are no dry bits left. The texture should be sticky and rough. Then cover it and let it rest for about 30 minutes. Now it's time for the first stretch and fold. Make sure your hands are wet because the dough is quite sticky. Then cover it and let it rest for another hour. By the time we do the second round, the dough has doubled in size. Repeat the same folds once more and let it rest for one more hour. Now dust a bit of flour over the dough. Then use a bench scraper to gently loosen it from the sides. Work slowly and carefully, just enough to release it without tearing. Then flip it onto the work surface. Gently stretch the dough and shape it into a rough rectangle. Fold the top edge down toward the center. Then bring the bottom edge up and fold it over the first one. Next, fold the dough from left to right, then bring the other side over it. Now start tightening the surface by gently dragging the dough toward you on the counter. The goal here isn't a perfect shape. Any technique works, as long as you build tension without tearing the dough. Then cover it and let it rest for about 15 minutes. Now dust the top with flour, flip it over, and gently stretch it into a rectangle, just as much as the dough allows. Fold the front side toward the middle and pinch it to seal, then bring the other side over and pinch again. This helps trap the steam inside so it escapes only where we score the bread later. Once you've sealed it, dust it lightly with flour, flip it over so the seam faces down, and it's time to transfer it onto the tray. Score it with a razor blade, right along the top. Then bake it in a preheated oven at 250 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes with a tray on top to protect it from direct heat. Now look at that beautiful golden brown loaf. It came out just the way I like it. Now let it cool on a wire rack for a bit before we cut into it. Moment of truth. Let's see if all that folding and stretching really paid off. The crumb is open and light, soft to the touch, exactly how we want it. Thanks for watching, and if you love real bread, stick around, there's more coming soon.